I'm in my football kit today because we're going to be talking about Northern Ireland football, playing football in Northern Ireland. Do you know any famous, really good players who played for Northern Ireland, past and present? Let's sing the wee song, God is Good. Great song for singing. Big warm-up exercise.
Over mountains high, through the valleys low, God is good. Wherever we go, from the brightest days to the darkest nights, God is good. All the time. God is good.
Get the gear on. Get the kit on.
Through the ice and snow to the vast unknown, everywhere we go, God is good. Through the trials we face, He will show the way. We will stand and say that God is good. God is good. Mountains high, the valleys low, God is good. Wherever we go, from the brightest days to the darkest nights, God is good. All the He is good through the ups and downs when life spins us around. Our God is good. Nothing goes our way, and it's just not our day. Our God is good. God is good. Mountains high, through the valleys low, God is good. Wherever we go, from the brightest days to the darkest nights, God is good. Mountains high, through the valleys low, God is good. Wherever we go, from the brightest days to the darkest nights, God is good. All the time. God is good. God is good.
Brilliant song. God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. Okay, let's go and learn something about the game of football. Boys and girls, we're in Burn Way today in East Belfast, just off the Craigie Road. And if you notice here, I've got a tennis ball. There's a wee boy grew up here called George. Anyone know who George was? That's his house over there. He was George Best, one of the most famous footballers in all the world. He came from Belfast, Northern Ireland, played for Northern Ireland, played for Manchester United. This is where George grew up. Just a humble, normal abode. Little house here. I'm going to go and knock the door. This is where George would have come out every morning, going to school. George, you up yet? George isn't here. George is gone, but his legacy lives on. Look. Family home of soccer legend George Best. George would have went to school. When you read about his life, and he would have taken a wee tennis ball, he would have kicked the tennis ball the whole way to school, put it in his pocket, and then he would have kicked it the whole way home again. And little he realised then, he was a natural genius at playing football with football skills. And if you can play football with a tennis ball, playing with a big ball is going to be much, much easier. So the whole way to school, he would have kicked the ball until it says the yellow or it was completely scuffed off, until it was almost completely like rubber, completely gone. That's how much he loved football. He would have taken a football with him to his bedroom, to his friend's house, the whole way to school, put in his pocket and home again. That's how much he loved football. Any opportunity George got, he would have taken a ball out with his friends and played kicky around or played football. Little he realised scouts were watching, and were watching George, and any opportunity he got to play, and he developed and developed. As a teenager, he was absolutely brilliant. Now, George, he lives in Burren Way, and I thought there are lots of applications here. For example, from a Christian perspective, what an opportunity for George to hear, because lots of churches were very active in reaching children with the gospel, and every time he saw the word way when he was coming home kicking the ball, he could think the way to heaven, the way to God. What's the Bible verse? Jesus said, I am the way to heaven, the way to God. I am the way, the truth and the life. No man cometh unto God the Father but by me. So not only George Best, this is where George Best lived, just in the background. So this would have been the park where he would have literally played. There's not so many kids about. Normally on a really sunny day, this would be bunged with kids. The problem with children today, lots of them are at home playing computer games, and they're not out running around playing a simple game like football. Yet George Best loved football. All of the boys and girls in the state at that time would have been just playing football, but he was a naturally gifted legend at playing football. Other such ones as Pat Jennings, he played for Northern Ireland as a goalkeeper. He was absolutely brilliant. He went on to play for Spurs. Pat Jennings was one of the best goalkeepers in the world. They said he had like shovel's hands. He could have just lifted his hand up and made a football look like a tennis ball. Another famous one is Norman Whiteside. At the age of 17 and 323 days, the youngest player to score in a cup final. David Healy. David Healy was another famous footballer. He played for Southampton and he played for Rangers. Coming from Northern Ireland, he was scouted and taken over to the mainland to play for these great clubs. David Healy, he became renowned all over Northern Ireland because he scored that infamous goal against England whenever they beat them 1-0. Oh, he's onside. Healy from Northern Ireland, real shot. He scored! And the crowd went berserk. And England are embarrassed. Naturally, they say Northern Ireland fans are the best fans in the world whenever it comes to football, and they're singing. Then there's Steve Davis. Steve Davis is the most capped player playing for the country in Britain out of England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland. He's the most capped player. In other words, he's played representing Northern Ireland. That's a great achievement for a player to like George Best. All these little boys, they all went to primary school. They all played football like anybody else. But yet, whenever they were young, they practiced. Even though you had a gift, you would still have to practice every day your football skill. They would have played hours a day to develop their skill because they loved it. They really wanted to do. They loved football, and they dreamt about football. They thought about football, and they played football, and then they lived out their dream to playing for international clubs. And all over the world, if you were to mention George Best for people who love football in any part of the world, they will say yes. The lightning speed genius who played for Northern Ireland, played for Manchester United. But these legends, like George Best, have come and they've gone, but we remember them as someone who represented their country of Northern Ireland. So every year when a child's born, you wonder what championship are they going to play for, who are they going to play for, how they're going to develop. Sometimes we think these people, they're born in a palace, they're born in royalty, they're born in a really wealthy house, and lots of money is given to them to like a scholarship, but that's not true. Most of these children in primary school, they were born in normal houses with normal families, but yet they had a gift and they developed it. Whether they were going to be an educator or a business, an entrepreneur, most of them, a lot of them came from very humble beginnings, and they proved themselves against all odds. People probably, I would imagine, say, George, you'll never play for Manchester United, you'll never play for Northern Ireland, you just live there, you look like this, you just look like that, you don't have it, George. But yet he defied all that, and they kept playing and practicing as much as they possibly could. He would have liked the header, so he would have used his head like that. He would have liked his feet, he would have played like that there. That's my record, 4. So Pat Jennings would have been the goals, and he was never worried. He just saw the ball, caught the ball with his big hands, head and shoulders above everybody else, and he would have just passed it off. And it wouldn't matter where the ball came, hundreds of times a day, he would have caught the ball just like that. So difficult to get the ball past people like Pat Jennings, famous for Northern Ireland, played for Northern Ireland and many other clubs over his career. Big hands for catching the ball. So boys, if you have a gift, girls, if you have a talent, develop it, work hard at it. Don't give in to like so many people, and sit at home and just play your games. Get out, get the fresh air into your body and play your sport, play your game, be good. Because one thing, Norman Whiteside was another one. Norman Whiteside played for Northern Ireland when he was 17. But when he was in his prime at 26, he had an accident. I think it was his leg, and that finished his football career. He had big dreams to play for many more years, to represent his country, to represent really good teams. But because he damaged his leg, you need your leg to play football, so he can no longer play. Some people wait for ages and waiting for a moment, waiting for a time. Today is the time. Not just to do your sport, to use your body to practice, but I think of the Christian life. The Bible says today is the day. Don't harden your heart. When you realise you want to live your life for God, give your life to God. Don't wait till you're old. Don't wait till it's too late. But give your heart and your life to him when you're young. So like a young boy can play for hours without getting puffed out. When you get older, you're going to get puffed out playing, and you can't play the same way as you could when you're young. It's like living for God. When you're young and full of energy and your mind's active, you can really run the Christian life really, really well. Do you ever notice in a football match who the best players are? All the thousands of spectators, they always know, they always give up, saying he should have done that, he should have done this. But yet they're not the ones playing the game. And you're going to get people in life telling you what you should do, how you should do this and do that. Spectators. But the only way to try the Christian life is to give your heart and life to him. Don't worry about other people. Start running the Christian life and the Christian race. When you do you see when you score a goal? It motivates the whole team, and you want to score another one and another one and another one. That's like the Christian life. See, when you tell somebody about Jesus and a wonderful way he blesses you and he encourages you, and you want to tell somebody else and tell somebody else. When you read the Bible and God speaks to you through his word, you'll want to keep reading and reading, and suddenly you'll be all fired up to living the life, the Christian life for God. So I could trace the life of footballers who were young boys who grew up in Belfast and many parts of Northern Ireland, and they give their life to football. And they're a living legend. Whenever they die, they're gone. We think of they represented, were ambassadors for Northern Ireland because of football, and that's their legacy. A great and wonderful legacy it is. But I wonder, what's your legacy? Maybe it's not football, maybe it's not sport, but it can be something. And you don't have to be good at it. It's being a Christian. Can you be an ambassador for Jesus, an ambassador for God? You don't need to run, you don't need to play football, you don't need to do sport. You just need to have him in your heart and shine for him everywhere you go. That's something to think about. That's a challenge. Next time you see a ball, don't give up. You keep practicing. And even if you're good at it, if you're not good at it, just keep playing it. Football's good sport. I love playing ball. I had a tuber when I was wee. Never really played for a team, but I love playing for friends. I played for the BB. We would have played for hours just out kicking a ball because it was good fun, really good fun. So next time you get a ball, start playing football, start running. It's good for you if nothing else. Yes! It's a goal! Another thing in the game of football, whenever you're playing football, you always want to win. You don't go out to lose, or you don't go out to draw. You might be content. Sometimes if you think the other team's better, you can be intimidated, and you'll say, I'll settle for a draw, or if they only beat us by a couple of points. But every team should go out to win. You should never give up. In the Christian life, so many people give up because somebody trips them, or they fall, or there's a hurdle. But remember, in the football game, when the final whistle blows, it's all over. And whoever scored the most goals gets the prize, gets the point. And the Christian life, we look unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, and there's a prize that awaits us. There's a prize that awaits me. I don't see it on this earth. Whenever there's a competition or the league or the cup's over, the team stands together, gets a photograph taken and lifts the cup. And after that, it's all over. You don't get a prize for living the Christian life here, but there's a prize awaiting for everyone who lives the Christian life and runs a Christian race. And it's a prize awaiting that God's going to give. He's going to give us a crown, and on that crown there's going to be jewels. And I'm all excited about that, to learn all about it, to see it, to receive it from the Lord Jesus. What a day that's going to be. So every time, even in sport and football, and all these wonderful people representing Northern Ireland, I can trace the handiwork of God through even a game of football. Wonderful. Oh yes, you're going to score a goal! Really enjoyed that one, learning all about the football. I need to practice my penalty kicks and practice taking a few shots. But apart from that, we're going to sing Stop, but let me tell you. Stop, and let me tell you what the Lord has done for me. Stop, and let me tell you of the Christ of Calvary. He forgave my sins and He saved my soul. He cleansed my heart and He made me whole. So stop, and let me tell you what the Lord has done for me. Stop, and let me tell you what the Lord has done for me. Stop, and let me tell you of the Christ of Calvary. He forgave my sins and He saved my soul. He cleansed my heart and He made me whole. So stop, and let me tell you what the Lord has done for me. Wonderful, wonderful assembly today. Great to play football. Get a ball, get out and about and kick it around. And if anything, it's good for you. It's good for other kids. And you never know, you might have a skill you never thought you have. Have a lovely day. See you. Bye.